So we are moving on to the next section where we deep dive into some of the nagging pain points of the entrepreneur. And I want to focus on some challenges you may have faced or currently facing as a co-founder at a startup. And the intent is to start a dialogue on some of the pressing issues that can be solved only if the ecosystem comes together. So, for example, in our last podcast, we spoke about some of the challenges we startups face, and one of them was about finding and retaining affordable workforce. So, let's start with this challenge, especially because India is now raising to be a $1 trillion digital economy, and every company will sooner or later become a tech-enabled and a digital-first business. And India's startup workforce is expected to swell to about 5 million by 2030. So with this context, talk to me about your hiring strategy to train and retain workforce.
Yeah. So, Srish, I think this is a evolutionary answer. I think the answer to this keeps changing with the scale of company, right? But I will answer this with a perspective of the scale that we are at right now. See, I would say that I will divide this answer into two segments. One is we being an especially, I mean, extremely, what do you call warehouse centric and all these activities which are there, right? We also tend to work with a lot of blue collar workers because there's a lot of factory moves and a lot of packing work, warehouse manual labor work which happens. And this hiring is a very, very important thing. A lot of people just overlook this part of hiring for your teams, but these are the guys actually who make your life easy because I cannot go down and pack a shipment over there in warehouse. Neither I can't go left to create and all of that, right? So retaining these guys are very, very important because these guys are extremely agile and they're just fast moving. They're like they just work for their day rates. They just want to feed their family, have a proper food for the day, and then just have a happy life for them, right? So retaining these guys are very, very important for you. So what we do is we work with an agency, we work with experienced folks and we take care of them, like, and we show them the growth. In fact, like our blue collared workforce in Weezy is not just looked as a blue collared workforce. We treat them as a part of the family. We give them different opportunities to grow while they are being recruited for the specific blue collared activity in the warehouse. Like for example, one guy who's been hired as just a warehouse helper today is our warehouse manager. He is managing the entire blue collared workforce today. And he's been extremely brilliant in the way that he's been managing. It's been just 6 months and he's just grown up the ladder to managing the entire warehouse at a single handed level. So what we believe in is showing them the moon about what you're trying to build, right? And giving them the right pedestal to play around and giving them that confidence and you backing them up in every single instance. I think this is something which is very, very important for anyone to just stick around, especially in the early stages of business. Because frankly speaking, they're not working with Google or a Microsoft where they feel that, hey, I'm working for a big MNC, I'm working for this brand or whatever. You know that what you're trying to build as a founder, but not all your employees might not understand that, right? So it's your responsibility as a guy who is actually going down and hiring people to show them the vision that what you're trying to build, back them up at every single stage, solve every single problem, treat them as your family. Like we take our blue collar workforce for dinner, we throw them puppies, right? And we give them the right pedestal and an opportunity to grow as a leader. So this is one segment. And talking about the core team, which actually works with us in the business front, I feel we are at a stage where we hire leaders who can be. I mean, we hire people who can be molded as leaders, and we just don't want employees who just does a task based act. There's a difference, right? Like you hire employees, you give them the task that ki boss ye karna hai, ye karna hai. These are the 1, 2, 3, 4 tasks, and you log out at 6 p.m. and then that's it. But that's not the point that we want. Like we have a founding team, we have a core team, but for an organization to be built and scaled, right, at with a high demand, you need a strong second level leadership which needs to be built where they act as a replica, they overshadow you as a founder, and then they act as in your extended hand to actually execute stuff. And we hire people who has that spark in them to grow. As of now, like for example, I've hired two guys from Manipal itself. I've just found that spark in them that they want to do something extra. They're not clear that they want to work with a startup or whatever. They want to do something exciting apart from getting into a job or whatever. I've just ignited that spark in them, showed them the moon that what we're trying to build, and showed them the opportunity and the potential for them to grow as an individual and create value for themselves first, and then create value for business. And I've just given them the right pedestal, and these guys are amazingly performing right now. So I feel one thing which, summarizing your question, if you have to retain someone and hire someone, right, at this phase, I feel giving them the right pedestal, showing them the confidence and giving them a potential of growth, and then just backing them up at every single phase they are there with you. I feel these are the few things which will just help them retain with you. And this comes with a lot of things that you pay them salaries or whatever. That's secondary, which and everyone does. But these are a few things which makes them stick back with you. Ki, "Haan, if I work with these guys, that I have a potential to grow." And I always have this point in my mind that I want my team to be more smarter than me. Because if I work with more smart people, right, these guys are more smarter to figure out a solution. And my life as a co-founder actually makes easier. Like I'm making my life simpler. So I always believe in working with more smarter people and creating skill sets in the team which are distinct to everyone. And all of these skill sets combined together as a team complements with each other and just comes out as a brilliant team working together. So I feel this is the a strategy we've been following at Weezy, and it's been working brilliantly for us. This might change as we scale up, but yeah, this is the strategy as of.
And I'm very glad that we spoke about the blue collared workforce and how how you train and engage them. It's important that because they're the backbone of the entire industry. And
Absolutely.
uh, and interesting you mentioned about one of your strategies being in keeping it inclusive, not just in the other areas, but keeping them inclusive in the vision of the business. And
Correct.
that I feel is a very important way for each startup. Large organizations do it, but startups sometimes cannot focus on this. But I'm glad you're doing it.